right, everybody. This is it. This means that I am officially a lame duck. Woo! I really feel extraordinarily privileged to be able to introduce again Karl Kurtz to you. You can see his bio, which is extensive and really impressive and makes me feel intimidated. But what I really want to tell you is that I am so happy that I will be able to pass the gavel or the rangu to Karl in July. He has spent the last year so studious about understanding Boulder Rotary, putting himself into all of the committees, really getting to know people. I could not be happier about this transition, and I know that you guys are going to be so happy to have him as your president. I would like to invite him up to the stage to talk to us about what next year is going to be like.
So failing my first test of getting my microphone correct. Well, good afternoon, and thank you, Cassidy, for that introduction. I'm a word guy. I love words. They pop into my brain at odd moments, and I'm likely to mutter them out loud day or night, and people wonder what I'm talking about. Some would say that I'm a word geek, a word nerd, even a word junkie. So how many of you play the New York Times word game Wordle? Yeah, I know Linda Gardner does. How about spelling bee? How many do that? How many do both? Every single day. All right, keep your hands up, because these are my peeps. And actually, that's not a good thing to say, because in Rotary, we are all each other's people. What I should say is that these are my fellow word geeks, and I'm delighted to know who you are, and we'll create a caucus and a special club for that group. So I have a word game that I've invented for myself that I play when I'm bored or can't fall asleep. And it's to assign characters, failing a second test. It's to assign characters to here we go. Assign a character to letters based on words that start with that letter. And I have two examples, starting with the letter D. D is a dismal word to me. Depressing, disappointing, dingy, dank, dark, dreary, dead. Oh my gosh, dead. There are only 4 letters in dead, and 2 of them are D's, and it doesn't get any worse than being dead. Now, I'm not the only one who tries to characterize letters of the alphabet. The artist Erte painted this letter D, as well as the C on my title slide, in a series of paintings of the 26 letters of the alphabet. It took him 40 years to do it, between 1927 and 1967. This one, the letter D, I'm guessing, represents the goddess Diana, goddess of the moon and the hunt. So you see here a sliver of a moon and the outline of a bow and this sensuous woman. And most of his letters, if any of you know them, do feature beautiful and curvaceous women. like the next letter, which is my example, which is the very most popular one that he painted. So L is a luscious word. It's lovely. L is the language of sexual desire. Words like lubricious, lascivious, lustful. And then there's laughing. Leopard, like the one in this photo, in this painting. Lullaby is an L word. And Lollapalooza, that's a word I love. That's one that jumps into my head. It's so fun to say it. In fact, I'd like you to say it with me. Lollapalooza. Satisfying, isn't it? Now, before you start raising your hand and saying, but Karl, D can also stand for delicious and delightful, and L can stand for lousy and loudmouth and lizard and lumpy or whatever. But it's just a game. It's a game that I play in my head. So other than revealing the twisted pathways of the brain of your next president, what does all this have to do with Rotary? Well, you may have guessed it. I've set the stage for C is for Rotary. Now, I'm going to invite you to play my brain game with me. I'm going to ask you just to call out words that begin with the letter C that you associate with Rotary.
Community.
Community, all right. Okay, I'm going to move faster here. Community, color, charity. I missed some. Sorry? Collaboration. What was that last one? Constancy, thank you. No. Okay. All right, we're going to stop with those. What a great list. Sorry for my handwriting. And I'm going to give you my list, several of which appear on there and some of which don't. My C's that I'm going to talk about today are continuity, committees, communication, community, and create. And caring will slip in there as well. Now, we're going to have some other interactive parts of this presentation. I don't know exactly how long some of this is going to take, so we may not get the standard 10 minutes of questions at the end. So anytime you have a question, feel free to interrupt and I'll manage it with the time. Fair? Okay, so my first C is continuity. In addition to being a word guy, I'm a process guy, probably to a fault. I spent a lifetime studying and interacting with legislatures and Congress, starting in high school. When political scientists like me talk about the legislative process, they talk about incrementalism. I'm an unapologetic incrementalist. I believe in building on what's been done in the past and making small changes that move things forward. I'm not going to be proposing bold new initiatives. No, let's tackle homelessness, or let's lead the effort to deal with the scourge of Alzheimer's, for example. I'm going to emphasize continuity, and incrementalism is another version of continuity. Now, continuity, in my mind, is best represented by looking at the past leadership of our club. These are the 6 presidents of the club in the time that I have been a member, starting at the top right and moving counterclockwise. I have learned from all of them. They've made great contributions and improvements to the club, and I want to build on their accomplishments. Thank you, Cassidy. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Mike, John, Marty, and all the others who came before. I see Norris Hermsmeyer, Deborah Kelly, Darrell Brown. Raise your hand if I missed you, and you're here. So in the context of talking about my commitment to continuity and to process, I want to note that our club is anticipating a significant new bequest from the estate of our benefactor and late member, Leo Hill. December 2023 marks the 100th anniversary of Leo Hill's birth, and according to the terms of his estate, the remainder of his trust will be distributed to Boulder Rotary Club along with some other worthy local nonprofits. We don't know exactly how much this is going to be or what the timing is going to be, only that it's likely to be in the range of $400,000 and that it will be sometime in 2024. Continuing my theme, I don't have any grand vision for what we should do with this windfall, but I am deeply committed to setting up a collaborative process between the club's board, the foundation trustees, and some other bright minds in the club to develop a plan for an impactful yet prudent stewardship of these funds. And I'm going to ask Chris Coker, who is our president-elect nominee, to lead that team during 2023-24. So my next C is committees. Committees get a bad rap, you know. How many times have you heard somebody ask a question, did they solve that problem of a government body? No, they created a committee. There's an old joke, a camel is a horse designed by committee. To which I respond, for some things, camels are better than horses. Committees are invaluable tools for idea generation, debate, negotiation, and compromise, weeding out bad ideas and developing consensus on good ideas. Now, Woodrow Wilson, before he became president, was a professor of political science at Princeton University. And he wrote a book on Congress in which he coined the phrase, Congress in committee is Congress at work. Well, I'm going to steal that phrase, plagiarize it, and say, Rotary in committee is Rotary at work. Another way of saying that is that committees are the lifeblood of this club. And so one of my themes is going to be empowering committees, strengthening them, asking you how we can improve them and make them more effective. Let me hasten to add, though, that of course this empowerment has to happen within the resources of the club. We don't have blank checks to offer, but we have lots of ideas. So I will be holding a meeting of committee chairs jointly with Cassidy to plan for next year in the next few weeks. So we don't have a club-wide database of the membership of all of our committees. Each committee chair keeps his or her own roster, so it's not available to the whole club. But my aspiration is to make sure that every member of the club is serving on at least one committee. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to pull this off. It probably involves badgering all the committee chairs to provide rosters of their members and creating a database. And one of the reasons we don't do it is it's almost impossible to keep it up to date. But I want to do it at one point in time and capture that information. Then, looking at that list, we'll capture the people who are not serving on committees. We'll give their names to committee chairs as possible recruits to their committees. And I'll probably call on the board of directors to personally contact those who are not on a committee to ask how they can help them find a home in the club. So the next goal is, the next C is communication. Now, we have great internal and external communication tools led by dedicated people. The RIB, which stands for Rotary in Boulder, our weekly newsletter with the team of Bill Meyer and Christina Louie and Cassidy and Nancy Billica. The BRU, which stands for Boulder Rotary Update, our weekly video, led by the Amigos, Mike Brady, Chad Stam, Charlotte Rome, Janet Beardsley, and Cassidy. BoulderRotary.org, our website, so capably managed and imaginatively done by Chad Stam and Vanessa Mead. And finally, our PR team, led by Jancy Campbell. So these folks do a fantastic job of internal and external communication. But they're only as good as their materials, their sources. And we as members, as committee leaders, are not always as good as we should be about communicating our accomplishments and getting them out into the world and among ourselves, for that matter. And so one of the things I'm going to be asking the committees this year is to have a communications plan for their committee for the coming year. The next C is community. And I mean community in several different ways. The first way is the good works that we do in the community, the $120,000 or so that we give out every year to things like, about half of it, $50,000 to $60,000, goes out in scholarships. The pollinator gardens that we're building around Boulder, the Infinite Walk of Peace that we built in the last couple years, all of our many contributions to behavioral wellness. And it also, and those are just a few that I'm mentioning, it also includes the countless volunteer hours that we commit to things like the spelling bee, Destination Imagination, journaling, and most recently, our monthly pop-ups. So the second version of community is our own community, our friendships, our business and professional connections, the broadening of our understanding that comes from our programs. And let's bring in another C here, caring, that we recognize and support our members' joys, griefs, and personal and professional challenges. So, community also includes our membership and efforts to grow it. Now, we've made great strides this year in adding 25 new members to the club. Incredible work by Cassidy and by the membership team. But we can do more, and I'm going to urge you to do that. And I'm going to ask you right now to participate with me in a 5-minute brainstorming session on community or membership to help us think about and contribute to growing our membership. Now, this is a brainstorming session, and I'm going to be asking you at your tables to talk about what are the ideas that pop into your mind when you think about the concept I am proposing that growing our membership is every member's responsibility. And as we're doing the brainstorming, remember, I'm sure you've all done this kind of thing. Brainstorming is just throwing out ideas. It's not debating them. It's not evaluating them. There's no such thing as a bad brainstorm. Now, ideally, we would follow up on this, and if we had the whole afternoon, we could do a bang-up job on this, but we've only got 5 minutes for this exercise. So I'm going to do a little bit different method of reporting back and following up rather than having every table come up and report what they talked about. So here's how it's going to work. Each of you at your table is going to choose a captain. The captain's job is to keep track of the time and make sure that everyone at the table has an opportunity to contribute an idea. Then you're also going to choose a reporter, someone who records ideas, and this doesn't have to be in any detail. This is just a few words on each detail, and you can take notes on your cell phone or on your paper, but the important thing is I want you to send me an email to the address on the screen, Karl Kurtz 45. Now you know what year I was born and how old I am, and I am almost as old as Joe Biden. And so I want you to send me that email today. I will then compile those, merge them, and pass those on to the membership committee for evaluation and prioritization. And the membership committee will report back to you at a future, either at a meeting or in the RIB or some other mechanism. Now, the Zoom participants are going to be doing the same thing online. Nancy Chin Wagner is moderating the Zoom participants today, and she will put into the chat her notes about what's going on, and so we can communicate with them. So I'm first going to give you 1 minute to choose your captain and reporter at your table. And somebody when you've got it done, just hold up your hand so I can see that you've already gotten. Bobby Brown's already found, or he's got a question. All right, we got one table. No.
No, all right.
Okay, back of the room, that's good. We're coming up on 1 minute, so choose your team.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't always.
Okay, good here. All right, time to move forward. Your 5 minutes. If I can get your attention again for a moment. Can I get your attention, please? So your 5 minutes to brainstorm the ideas that pop into your head when you think about the concept of making every member responsible for membership. Okay, your 5 minutes begins now.
I put it away for you. You wanted it back?
You drink a lot of coffee.
Okay, time's up. Thank you. So, as I said, I wish we had time to go through this process of everybody reporting, but I'm doing okay on my allotted time here. And all of you are getting ready to send that email within the next few hours, right? All the reporters. So I do have time to take, if there was just this fantastic idea at your table or something completely you'd never heard before, I can take 2 or 3 of those. So if reporters or captains, if you feel inspired, raise your hand and I'll count on Vanessa will choose who to get to, probably based on who's closest to her. I'm sorry, who? Okay. Let's start with Lena Kotke, who is online. Lena, if you can unmute yourself, please.
Hi, Carl. We had a little bit of interference. We were a little slow to get started, but we did have some good ideas. Ask one neighbor to join Rotary. Invite 3 people to lunch over the course of the coming year. Ask a relative. Invite a relative to join Rotary. And as a slogan, we thought each one, reach one. Might be a good slogan for this.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any others? Who else has got just a great 1 or 2 to offer? Danny over there. Wait for the mic, please, Danny.
Some good ideas. I guess the main one was about social media, getting the word out about what Rotary is. I think the community doesn't really understand what Rotary is. It is a business organization, or is it a community service organization? There's so many things we do. And so it's getting the word out in a variety of ways: social media, ads, working with local publications, all kinds of things. That would be one we're going to work on.
Great, thank you. Is there one more? Let's go up, yeah.
So one that we had is that quite a few of us already who are members serve on different boards or social clubs, et cetera. So to promote Rotary within those clubs, folks that are probably naturally inclined to serve others, are already serving others, service above self, and so they would probably readily identify with that. So to be to have our idea, our story, our elevator pitch about what Rotary is.
Thanks, Doug. And last, Jancy has a special announcement that I'd like her to make.
Okay, what a coincidence, but just today we have these new flyers. These are directed basically to non-Rotarians, and they're going to be going in the kiosks. We have permission right now to put them in kiosks in the museum, downtown mall, and also the JCC. It starts off with, what would you do if you knew you could change the world with the help and support and leverage of more than 1.4 million friends around the world? And these are going up. These are just brand new. And maybe pass this on to Don. Do you want to give some ideas?
We came up with one, the new people in town. Watch the newspaper, watch what's going on, invite the coach, invite people that are coming into churches, government, et cetera, specific people, nonprofits, terrific.
Okay, I'm sure there are lots more of these ideas coming my way in the next few hours, and I look forward to reading them, sharing them with the membership committee, and trying to turn them into a very specific strategy and vision. So my last C comes from the Rotary International theme for 2023-24, create hope in the world. Now, I spoke about this at the Service Above Self Gala last Saturday. Many of you heard it. I'm not going to repeat that. I'm just going to do about a 1-minute summary of it. And in the process, I will unveil the banner that we will be using next year. This is the current year's theme banner. And so this will be the Create Hope in the World banner. So in announcing this theme, President-elect Gordon McInally said, "Rotary brings lasting change to the world, one restored hope at a time." And his priorities are to work on peace building, to strengthen mental health, and to continue to lead the world in the fight against polio. Now, I love this because I think it fits our club, because I think Boulder Rotary Club creates hope in the world by strengthening our schools, empowering our youth, protecting our environment, advancing peace in the world, and combating disease and promoting mental health. So the work that we do creates hope in the world. And I look forward in the coming year to working with you to create hope in the world. Thank you. And I'll welcome your questions in person after the meeting or via email.
Karl, thank you so much. And as you know, Rotary always has the last word, which I don't know how that works when you're the president. But in your honor, we have, of course, donated 100 doses of vaccine to polio. And let's hope that your year is the year where it gets wiped out. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Rotary Comes Home is a wonderful evening of dinner and conversation with many of your Rotary friends and their guests, generously hosted by several very generous members of our club in the privacy of each of their homes. Our hosts choose the dinner theme. Guests choose their dinner preferences. Meal preferences include Italian, German-Austrian, Greek, Mexican, Mediterranean, an opportunity to dine with the Ginsbergs, and even a 4-way test meal. We are taking reservations for up to 60 Rotarians and guests. You can see Darla at the BRC meeting on May 5th and May 12th for a reservation form, or you can email her your top 3 meal preferences when you receive the reservation form in your email on May 5th. In honor of our generous hosts who are donating their time, treasure, and talent, we ask that you make a $50 donation per guest to the Boulder Rotary Club Foundation. Back by popular demand, please join us on Tuesday, May 16th for a Boulder Rotary Club happy hour at Boulder Social, 38th and Arapahoe from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy a drink and camaraderie with your good friends from Boulder Rotary. Ask Linda Nels if you have any questions, but come join the fun, and we hope to see you there May 16th, Tuesday, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Boulder Social.
Devin Patrick Hughes, conductor of the Boulder Symphony, enthusiastically moves symphony orchestras to their best, most vibrant storytelling. Devin is devoted to music for a greater communal purpose. He engages audiences of all types and inspires critically acclaimed performances. He's developed apprentice programs, play and summer camps, and routinely does benefit concerts. He's a tutor, mentor, and conscientious volunteer. Don't miss a chance to hear from a true artist making an enormous impact in our community. Devin Patrick Hughes, next week.
We're having a free Get Acquainted session at our resort this weekend.
How much is this free resort weekend?
It's free.
And when is this weekend?
It's this weekend.
Uh-huh. And how much does it cost?
It's free.
I see. And when is it?
It's this weekend.
And what are you charging for this free weekend?
Come on, Dad, the team's arriving.
It's free, right?
Make the most of your weekend and have a great weekend.